All right, guys, we're here with Taylor Martin from Best Damn EDC.
What's up, man?
You have a good time?
I did.
Yeah. So what'd you think about the trip, the facility, and the knives? Then we'll get to the good stuff.
Yeah, I didn't know what to expect, right? They said that we were going to go to Cerakote, and my first reaction to that was kind of an eye roll because, like, okay, corporate tour of a whatever, like that. And as soon as we got there, I was like, oh,
Yeah, it's deep.
this is cool.
Yeah.
Cerakote is really cool. And WorkSharp, I was really surprised by their setup and just the way they run things and the culture,
Way
environment, everything was like, I mean, I work with WorkSharp very closely.
Yeah.
It was still a very big surprise to me.
Yeah, the
and
environment was great.
The knives, like I've known about them for a while, like 2 years.
Yeah, me too,
And they're great. They have only improved, and they've improved in all the right ways.
Yeah, no, for sure. Because the first one I had did actually fail like a spine test, but these ones are like they actually like really went into that and made sure that these things were solid.
Yeah, they were really finicky with the cartridge swap to get it to
Yeah.
auto. They were really finicky, hard to center, and now they always center every
Yeah.
time.
The Cerakote thing, I thought it was going to be a little booth inside their facility. I literally did. They're like, we're going to do Cerakote first. I didn't think it was going to be a whole nother place. I thought it was going to be like a little booth. Yeah. So that was really cool. So now I want to get a little personal with you because I don't know what anybody knows about you. I don't know a lot. So I guess I'll just ask questions I'm curious about, and I'm sure they will be too because I bet you none of these have been asked from you. So where'd you grow up?
I grew up in a small farm town in North Carolina called Pinnacle.
Pinnacle?
Yeah. On a tobacco farm.
Oh, yeah?
Which is a surprise to most people. Yeah.
What'd your parents do?
My dad was an engineer, and my mom was a school teacher.
Oh, okay. What was your first? Right.
They had one of the old school registers. Like, I had to do all the mental math. Like, could not have a calculator. I had to know how to calculate tax on the fly.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was pretty wild.
That's actually really cool. So what, you had like one of those old school registers that had like the big round buttons you had to push all the way down? Cha-ching, cha-ching, that one?
Yep.
Wow.
And I had to just mental math do the tax in my head.
That's actually really cool. How old was that? How old
16.
were you? 16?
Yeah.
Where'd you go to high school? I know like the place, but what kind of high school was it?
It was a moderately sized high school. Like, I don't know what it was.
It wasn't like homeschooled or anything like that. Because Alex, when I asked Alex this, he said he was homeschooled his whole life. So
that tracks.
What?
He's really quiet. So like that tracks.
Yeah.
He's really quiet. Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
No, public school. Just West Oaks was the name of the school, and it was like 1,200 kids.
Oh,
so it wasn't like tiny, but
right.
big. In the country though.
What were you like in high school? Like, what'd you get into?
I was a metal kid. I was in a metal band.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, you still got some music?
I was a vocalist for death metal.
Really?
Band. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, there's still some music out there.
Is there?
A little bit.
It's tracing around. Everybody's Googling it now.
Good luck finding it, but it's out there.
It's out there.
It's out there.
Well, they'll find it. They're good.
So metal kid, skateboard, soccer.
Awesome.
Yeah, I was a mixed bag.
Yeah.
Chameleon,
That's cool.
if you will.
That's very cool. So I'm guessing those were the type of crew you hung out with, like same thing.
I didn't really fit into any niche. I was just like friends with everybody.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
I could totally see that. Did you go to college?
Sort of.
That's a no.
I went to college. I am one credit short of an associate's.
Oh, okay.
And I just
well, for what?
Science. I was going to go for mechanical engineering.
Not sound engineering?
No. No.
Kind of cool.
But yeah, my mom's like, you got to go back.
Why science or why? Like what interested you in that?
The goal when I was in college, there was a company called Research in Motion. They may still be around, but everybody knows them as BlackBerry. I wanted to make BlackBerry. So it could have been electrical engineering, mechanical. I wanted to design and make cell phones. I was really big into tech.
Oh, okay.
Which tracks
it does track. Yeah.
For what we talked about.
So, when did you get into like YouTube and filming and stuff like that? Because I know you were doing stuff before this.
Yeah, YouTube wise.
Yeah.
I was working a job at Best Buy selling cell phones.
You were deep into cell phones.
Oh yeah. And this dude walked in and he drilled me on Blackberries for like 2 hours. Every spec, just
Asking you questions?
Yeah, every question he could come up with about a BlackBerry, he would ask.
Okay.
And I answered all his questions, and a couple of days later, he came back and offered me a job. He's like, "Do you want to write about cell phones?"
You did. You thought he was looking for one, right?
I thought he was wasting my time. Yeah,
Yeah,
Because I thought he was shopping, and then he was like, "Thanks," and walked out. And I was like, "What a jerk! I work on commission. Like,
right.
you wasted 2 hours of my time." But then he came back and offered me a job writing cell phone reviews, and
you took it.
I took it, and then that led to another job where I became a video creator.
What was that like? What do you mean writing cell phone reviews? What does that look like?
About every week to 2 weeks, I get a phone in the mail, new phone, unreleased, usually about a month or two before they'd come out, and we would write a review. So we would test, benchmark tests, software, all sorts of aspects of the phone, battery life, and document it, camera quality.
Yeah.
And just put it under the microscope, and then we would write the review.
How did you get into filming it? Because you were in tech, right? So, like, were you filming tech at that point, or?
When I started, no. And then I got kind of poached from a competitor.
Okay.
By a guy who's now still a very personal friend and a mentor. And he poached me and said, "I want you to write these articles for me." Signed the contract, and day one, he's like, "Hey, make this video." And I was like, "I don't even have a camera." And he's like, "Go buy a camera and make this video."
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know. He's like, "Figure it out."
I'm not good at that.
I was like, "That's not what you hired me for." And he's like, "It is."
It is, yeah.
This
This is where we were going the whole time.
Yeah, I was like, "That's not in the contract." And he's like, I think you can make YouTube
It's like
videos.
I actually had fine print at the bottom that you didn't see.
Yeah. He said, "I think you could be a YouTuber, and I want to."
Oh, so it was all about YouTube for like not just filming for like for other things, just YouTube.
They already had a YouTube channel.
Oh wow, that's cool.
But he didn't mention any of that before, and he kind of dropped that bomb on me day one, and the rest is history. The first many videos were very, very cringy.
What year was that? Or how old were you?
2013, 2014.
Oh wow, okay. And you've been doing...
Or no, video-wise, I started probably 2020, 2021. Yeah.
Okay.
Not 2010, 2011, sorry.
2010, 2011?
Yeah.
And then how long did you do that for?
Last tech thing I did was for CNET in 2018.
Okay.
So 8 years.
And why'd you get out of it? I know you already told me this, but they don't know. Why'd you get out of that? What was the problem with it?
I got burned out pretty bad.
Yeah.
I mean, working 80 plus hours a week, every week, covering every aspect of every cell phone.
Now?
Tech?
Yeah. No.
No.
You didn't hesitate.
No, I was really into it, and I still like gear, right?
Yeah,
I still like
it's
tech,
different to like something than to want to film.
but I have no desire to make videos about tech.
Right. So what? How'd you transition over to EDC?
Well, I started another channel, which a lot of people probably know about this, but I had another channel called Mod, and I ran that for 5, 6 years, 7 years. It got it to like 90,000 subscribers.
Okay.
And the short story of it is my wife, my now wife, came to me while I was in the middle of shooting a video, and she's like, "Look, you make videos all day for your job, and then you come home and you make videos.
Yeah.
I don't see you." She's like, "It's me or this channel. You're killing yourself, and it's not worth for me to stick around."
How many hours were you putting in?
Oh, at that point,
Like with both of them?
100 hours a week.
Yeah.
I wasn't sleeping much.
Yeah, I figured that.
Yeah. And she gave me the ultimatum. I begged and said, "Give me 1 month, and if it doesn't work, I'll walk away. I'll just work my job and figure it out."
Yeah.
And that next day, I started Best MEDC.
Yeah.
I started over from scratch.
Did it in it because you were already used to it and you were good at it already? It probably just took off a lot faster than the other ones.
I went full time in 3 months.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because I even think that now, like with the channel, like if I restarted it, it goes so much faster because you learn so much just doing it.
Yeah, I had
You had a lot of experience at that point. That's awesome.
almost a decade at that point.
Yeah. So 3 crazy stories from your life. I don't care what they're about. We like the crazier the better.
Oh God,
So
how much time we got?
As much time as you can handle.
Okay, I will reference one, and you can go watch the video if you care.
Okay.
A couple of years ago, I bought an excursion on a whim, trying to drive to Bladeshow, Texas, and it was a bad idea. 20-year-old vehicle. I didn't have any knowledge of the history, and hopped in and drove.
Okay, you just picked it up and drove?
I had it, and I put a whole bunch of parts on it. We lifted it and fixed it up.
Oh, okay.
And day 2 of our trip, we broke down to Middle Tennessee. I spent 11 days with a man I call Tennessee Santa.
Oh man,
Craziest trip I've ever had in my life.
hold on, where'd you meet the guy?
At a Love's gas station where I broke
And
down
how'd
just
you
outside.
stay with him?
He saw us broken down, and he walked past while we were like troubleshooting in the parking lot, and he was like, "It's a fuel supply issue," and he kept walking, and I was like, "That guy knows what he's talking about. I need to talk to him," because I didn't know diesel at the time. This was the first diesel I've ever had. And
was he right, by the way?
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. 11 days later, we figured it out. Yeah. We dropped a fuel tank in his driveway after we'd already paid somebody to fix the truck, and
So he let you guys like do the stuff at his house or something?
this dude had 3 houses. He had 2 right near where I broke
But he
down.
was walking.
No, he was in a truck.
Oh, I thought you said when you walked by. Okay, you mean at the gas station?
Yeah, he was walking by to
I
his
got you.
truck.
I got you.
He towed our trailer to his house. We took all our stuff to his house. We dropped the truck off at a mechanic shop. He paid the bill because they were cash only, and it was like after hours. There were no ATMs. Like it was a wild.
Wow.
He fed us. He took us around
Blessed.
town.
Yeah.
He gave us the keys to his car and said, "Go do whatever you need to do. You guys have the keys to my other house." We stayed in his spare house.
Wow.
Yeah,
Talk
dude,
about
it was
luck. Talk about
crazy.
blessing.
Yeah.
That is really cool. What would you say his name was? Tennessee what?
Tennessee Santa. He
Tennessee
said
Santa.
nobody can call him that but me. But
Okay.
he goes by
I
Buffalo.
didn't. Yeah.
He goes by Buffalo.
Buffalo?
It's honestly, the whole thing seems made up, but it's real. It happened.
That's, yeah, that is crazy. And you're very lucky because that could have turned really bad. And then to have nothing or nobody for somebody just to show up like that, that's actually really cool. It's very honorable.
Yeah.
Have
He
you
said-
talked to him since?
Yeah. We
Oh,
still
yeah?
talk. Yeah, we still talk all the time.
That's dope. That's dope.
Really awesome family.
All right, so another one.
Oh man.
It could be childhood. It could be anything. School. Whatever.
One of the craziest trips, another trip. It's all trips, right? Nothing fun happens at home. But it was a friend called me up and he was like, "Hey, I've got this trip I've been invited on, but I can't go. It's an automotive trip. I need you to write an article for Men's Health." And I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Yeah, can you do it?" And I was like, "I don't."
Did you
know."
write stuff for articles like that before? Like
Yeah,
those
but
types of things?
not for automotive or Men's Health.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
All right.
it was all outside my wheelhouse.
All right,
And he's
right,
like,
right.
"The trip's in 2 days. Can you go?" And I was like, "Where?" And he's like, "Hawaii." I was like, "Yeah, I can figure it out.
Hawaii?
Yeah, I'll figure it out." So 2 days later, somebody picks me up in a limo at my house, takes me to the airport, and I fly first class to Hawaii
Oh, wow.
and drive supercars. And
What?
yeah, dude,
That
it
is
was
dope.
insane. Like, the craziest part of that trip, there was a lot of crazy stuff that happened because that was a luxury car trip, right?
Okay.
They
That's
spared
what
no
it was
expense.
about.
Yeah.
Luxury cars.
Yeah, they
sports
spared no.
cars.
Yeah,
That's badass.
I
That's
say
like my
supercar,
dream.
but it wasn't really a supercar. But it's like, it was the Lexus LC500, which is like,
A dope ass car. Yeah.
yeah, it's like 600-700 horsepower. Like
Yeah.
it's a
yeah,
fun car.
Yeah. Very fast.
But one of the craziest things about that trip was we got there well before this little dinner party that we had. Each of us had like a beachfront house
Wow.
to stay in.
In Hawaii.
Yeah, and they said, go rest up, freshen up, take a nap before dinner. And I decided to walk on the beach. So I'm walking on the beach. There's nobody around. And I'd been walking for 5 or 10 minutes, and I hear Mr. Martin. I'm like, what's that? And I turn around, and there's a dude behind me. He's like, "Can I get you something to drink?" And I'm like, how does he know my name?
Yeah.
I'm not even facing him. Like,
Right. From on the back of my head.
what is this? And sure enough, I was like, yeah, like, I'll take a drink. And he said, "Would you like a water, soda, whiskey?"
How
Like
do you know your name?
I don't know. I still don't know.
Oh, you still don't know?
have no
I thought
clue.
you were about to get to that part.
Nope, I have no clue. But I said, "Yeah, I'll have a whiskey." And he was like, "Bourbon, Scotch." But I was like, "Scotch." And he said, "Peaty or sweet?" I said, "Peaty." He said, "Lagavulin 16." I was like, "That's my favorite Scotch."
Nice.
Yes.
That's what's up.
And he said, "All right, I'll keep him coming all night." And literally, no matter where I went, if my glass got low, he was like, "Would you like another?"
Wow.
Just out of nowhere. It's like
I
creepy.
need a $9,000 bill.
No,
It was
all on
that?
Lexus. Yeah.
That is awesome, man.
That was a fun
That is
trip.
really cool.
That was a
Hell
fun trip.
yeah.
Yeah.
What other trips? Give me one more.
Oh,
something
man,
something weird.
something weird or fun. Geeky.
Yeah, anything. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah. Just something interesting.
Oh man. I don't know.
Because you've taken a lot of trips, so
Yeah.
what was your funnest blade show trip? How about that? Because I know you've been through a shit ton.
my like fondest or coolest or
Yeah, like what was the best one yet? And where too? Because there's so many different ones, and I'm sure you've been to them all over. I've only been to
yeah.
Texas and Atlanta.
Yeah, the only other one is Salt Lake. I don't
How
know.
is that one?
It's the smallest
Is it?
by far.
But is it? I've heard people say that the smaller ones are better sometimes, but I don't know if that's true.
I think Texas is the most fun. It's a little unhinged,
Okay,
you know?
because it's Texas.
Yeah, it's a little unhinged.
Yeah.
I don't know. Blade shows are interesting. I think for me, the craziest one would have been the first one back after COVID because during COVID, the channel kind of blew up. Mm-hmm. So I went to the first Blade show that I'd ever been to before that. That was 2019. 2020 was canceled. 2021, I show up, and it was all kind of foreign to me because the first year I went to Blade show, the concept of somebody showing up and filming a YouTube video was kind of foreign, right? Blade HQ might film videos there, but they weren't running around the show floor. They had a room and they were bringing people in and doing interviews.
Yes, yes.
Nobody was running around the show floor with a camera. And I was, and it was a little weird for people the first year.
Bet it was.
And
First
I think
time.
Talon Sai was also there running around with a camera, but it was not normal.
I still get looks sometimes when I walk up. Like they'll look at me like evil sometimes. Like they're almost angry. I'm there and I'm thinking like this is a good thing, man.
Yeah, yeah.
They just don't get it.
They had no clue like why I would want to shoot a video
Right,
there. And it was like, whoa, this is backwards. I used to go to CES like tens of thousands of people running around with cameras.
Yeah,
you know,
right,
like
right.
crazy.
And people wanting their stuff filmed because they know it's good for them.
Yeah. But that first year back in 2021, the first year I went, 2019, nobody knew who I was. Right? Channel was fairly new. I had started in 2018, and I think I had like 80,000 subscribers at the time. 2021, everything changed. I was probably over 200,000 subscribers, and I built some relationships with a lot of those companies. But the big difference was the amount of people that stopped me.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
I
was
can
like
imagine,
mind blowing. But the weirdest part is I was having this sit down with Connor Tour. He had wanted to talk to me, and we didn't have anywhere to sit down. So Blade HQ was like, "Hey, you use our booth, just have this conversation." And I'd been talking to him for like 20, 30 minutes, and I can't remember who it was, but somebody from Blade HQ was like, "Taylor, you're gonna have to deal with this." And I was like, "What?" And I look up, and there's a line, and I was like, "That's a line for high techs." Like,
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
were like, "No, those people want to talk to you." And I was
What'd
like,
you think? How'd you feel?
I was like, "Oh, why?" Like, me?
Still can't figure it out.
Yeah. Oh, and it was a long line. It was a
Yeah.
very long line, and I sat there for probably about an hour, hour and a half.
Yeah.
And I
That's
looked
awesome.
over.
That's
It was
great, though.
it was
It is
amazing,
great, yeah.
right? Yeah, like I love meeting people, shaking hands, and that is one of the best parts of going to
Yeah.
Blade Show.
For sure.
It was completely foreign to me at the time. It was a crazy concept that people wanted to talk to me and shake hands like that. And eventually, I got to a point where I was like, I've got to get out of here. Like this is a little overwhelming.
Really?
And one of the guys at Blade HQ saw me. He saw it in my eyes, and he's like, "Duck behind the curtain. I will tell them you've got a meeting. Just there's snacks and drinks and stuff back here. You can just like hide away for a minute." And I was like, "Thank you."
Yeah.
Like it was amazing. I'm not complaining about it. It was
no,
just
yeah. I get it.
completely
I
off
get it.
guard
Yeah.
and really like overwhelming, but in a really good way. It's just I was like,
For sure. Yeah.
I was done at that
I'm
moment,
Sure,
yeah.
I'm sure it makes you feel really good too, because it gives you some feedback that the audience likes you, right?
yeah, it was cool. And then in like 2022, we had a
A what?
like
What do you mean?
my audience got angry.
Oh, did they? Yeah. Imagine.
I guess
It's because you ducked under the curtain. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah, no, I shelled up for a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there was just so much going on. I was like, I can't handle all this. I'm going to make videos.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was obviously nothing personal or anything. It's just. So, what do you think? Do you think that it's coming back around, or?
I don't know. I think my audience is always like extremely particular because I'm also like looking through things that are very critical lens or through a critical lens at most things. And I think I've harbored an audience that is critical of me, knives, gear, whatever.
But you kind of want them to be that way, right?
Yeah,
Because it makes you better, right?
Yeah. I'm extremely welcoming of criticism.
Yeah.
I often, Ben Peterson will tell you, I am often asking like what I can fix and what I can do better.
Yeah.
And like, that's what I want.
That's good.
Right? I don't like complacency.
Last question.
Okay.
What do you have planned? What do you have planned next? Is there anything that anybody needs to know that's coming up, or that you'd want people to know that's about to happen, that's going to happen, or even something that maybe you're planning on doing?
Well, there's the tactile Red Hawk. That's
Okay.
my second knife design. Comes out of Blade Show. Really stoked on that. It's a fixed blade.
Nice. That's the one we've seen at Blade Show, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. In
Yep.
Texas.
Yep. And then other than that, I don't know. I've got a lot in the pipeline. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what
Nothing
all I
you
can
want to
talk
talk about?
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's cool, though.
Well, I have my lighter company. I just don't know when
I don't
it's
know about
coming.
this. A lighter company?
Yeah, it's called Gaslight Industries. We're making these little jerry can lighters.
Okay.
They're pretty cool. I showed
Yeah.
Matthew yesterday.
Yeah, I want to get one.
Yeah, they're cool. I'll send you one.
All right, Taylor, man. I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Thank you. It's been fun.